Real Nerds is a proud partner of the Denver Podcast Network. In the shadow of the mountains, we speak.
Hi, my name is Paul Caroli, and I host a podcast called Changing Denver. It's a monthly show about our city's physical spaces, how we make them, and how they make us. But it's so much more than that. It's the conversations, ideas, and stories that define Denver's perpetual state of flux. Find more from our team at changingdenver.com and join the conversation on Twitter at changingdenver. Denver's changing. We can help.
Oh, hi, podcast listeners. There's many ways you can listen to the Real Nerds podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can also subscribe on Stitcher Radio. You want to send us a Twitter message? You can do that. It's so easy, at Real Nerds. Like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com, where there'll be a lot of articles for you to not only read, but to listen to our previous shows. You can also call us, 720-6nerds5. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show. This is Real Nerds Podcast, and I am Ryan. With me is
Brad
and
James
and
Zach.
It's like the OG podcast.
Oh my gosh,
it's getting back together.
It's
Zach
the end
leave.
of time.
Goodbye. Every week on Real Nerds Podcast, we go see a new movie and we podcast our experience to the world. This week we saw Shazam. Stay tuned to the end of the show where we will tell you if you see the film or not, play the trailer, and then we will spoil the film. We also talk about movies we've watched throughout the week, movie news, and movies that are coming out on Blu-ray, and then just random musings in our lives.
Yeah.
That happen to pop up.
Fun little things.
Ryan, keep us moving.
Emotions, humans. Brad, do you have emotions?
Nope. I killed those things years ago.
Wrong person to ask.
Sometimes when I'm driving or walking down the street and I see a fat lady fall, I laugh. And then if I thought I was an ant and she fell on me, it wouldn't be so funny. Do you remember Jack Hanley from Saturday Night Live? That was one of the ones I always remembered because it's so stupid.
I don't know.
Kevin, settle down.
I don't know what I'm laughing at.
I don't know what you're laughing at either.
You're just laughing at your dad. Because he's weird.
Because he's a child.
And an old guy who remembers when SNL was good.
Yes. You know what's funny? Laura does watch SNL every week.
Weird.
And I watch, I go, this is just not funny.
Yeah.
I every once in a while, a joke will sneak through. There's one where when Black Panther came out and T'Challa was on Jeopardy, and it was pretty funny.
Sure.
Black Jeopardy.
Yeah.
And he was talking about being noble, and it was pretty funny. And then I think it was about another year before I laughed again at Saturday Night Live.
Sure.
But, you know, it still exists.
I like the Black Jeopardy with Tom Hanks on it. It's pretty funny.
But the app for Saturday Night Live
Tom
is
Hanks
great.
isn't black.
No. They bring him on as one of the guests on Black Jeopardy. It's a funny sketch. You should watch it.
Wait, it's a different Jeopardy, but it's Black Jeopardy?
Yes, it's Kenan Thompson hosts Black
trying to do a
Jeopardy.
show
That's
here.
the premise of the sketch.
Is this basically just them stealing the Chappelle Show skit about do you know black people?
I don't know. I guess so.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
It sounds like it.
It's been a while since I watched the Chappelle Show, so I don't remember that sketch. I was thinking about the internet sketch, though, the other day, where they go through the actual internet.
Right.
Anyway, just like if it was just a department store.
But yeah, they, on Facebook, I love that it knows what videos I watch. So I get a lot of, fails, people being stupid, and then I've been getting a lot of Chappelle Show lately, and that show is amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so you shared like this little clip that was a couple weeks ago that was from Eddie Murphy's Delirious.
Oh yeah,
I was like, man, this is so fucking funny. It's on Netflix, and so Brooks and I at the end of the night, she was working on something, and I was like, I'm gonna throw this on. I'm just gonna watch. Man, the first 10 minutes of Delirious are unwatchable now.
Yeah,
it's so bad, and I didn't remember that at all.
There's
the opening is real rough.
When he talks about like gay people.
Oh yeah.
And he walks up, he's like, "What if they kiss you and you have that AIDS on their mouth?" You're like, "What?"
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's 1983. You know the context in which he's doing that, and the complete lack of information.
And yet still.
Oh no, it's
Yeah,
it's
no,
awful.
just skip it.
It's really rough because if I'd known, I would have just skipped 10 minutes in. But by the time it gets funny, you're already so on edge that you're like, I can't laugh at anything anymore. I'm just gonna go to bed
I think
sad.
Raw's rougher.
Raw's rougher.
Really?
Yeah, go through Raw again.
I haven't watched him since like I was 15.
There's a reason. There's a reason I don't read.
Back when
to
Hate
Eddie
was
Murphy
hilarious.
stand-up that much anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that's why
he's still a funny guy.
That's why you
Well,
got to get the highlights. When he's
Yeah.
talking about singers. Elvis, we gotta win this race.
Well, and all of the ice cream and the McDonald's sketches are.
Oh yeah, or he talks about
Brilliant.
his uncle. He's like, "You want to start a fire? Well, I'm going to start a fire. That's a fire." When he's talking about the barbecue is brilliant.
Oh yeah, I mean there's classics out of there that I've always remembered because they were so good.
I still love
And then,
I still love his SNL sketch where he plays old Gumby.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like a Gumby's in a retirement community for old comedians.
Yeah. It was just funny because we'd gone from. Brooks had put on the new what's her face? Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer's got a Netflix special.
Yeah,
so we watched through that, and it was good. It was all right. Anyway.
She's Amy Schumer.
Yeah, like 70% of her jokes are that she's fat, and that's funny. And I'm just like, you don't. All right, I'm good.
Yeah.
But anyway.
She's a funny lady.
But after that, I was like, I'm going to watch Delirious because I had watched that clip that you'd shown. Man, it was.
So I guess I haven't
sobering.
I haven't seen the full thing in a long time.
You don't. I mean, it really kind of ruined it for me. Because there is no way of excusing just how bad it is. Other than remembering the point in time and the misinformation and just the general fear, and lack of understanding at the time. But yeah. It's
and then he made Pluto Nash, which James bought the 2 tickets in Colorado. So
yeah, Jake and I saw it in theaters.
So you're the one who encouraged him.
Yeah, it's
keep
both
going.
its first and last week at the AMC 24 Highlands Ranch. Jake and I were there. we needed to see as also the only 2 white guys who saw Undercover Brother in theaters. We were like, this is our jam, and it wasn't.
Undercover Brother is actually
Undercover Brother is great and underappreciated.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we're not here to talk about Undercover Brother. Although that would be a great podcast, minute by minute on Undercover Brother.
So, Brad, you bought some extra Endgame tickets. Are you selling them for $15,000 on eBay?
I should, although
no, only
there's still
12
plenty
grand.
of seats at the Alamo the same day, so I don't know why people are buying them for that much.
Yeah,
even the Alamo right now only has 1 theater at a time for sale. In 2 weeks or a week or so, they're going to open up more theaters. So you can.
My
buy more
guess
tickets.
is one of the smaller theaters. That's all they're going to show.
Oh yeah,
Endgame.
like at Littleton, and if you look, they're showing it. They start showing it on Friday at 7 a.m.
Yeah,
like they're not doing 24/7, but they're getting as close as they can on this one.
Well, I remember for Infinity War, you sent a text. I was like, "Hey, come with us Friday at 7," and I thought it was 7 a.m. So I showed up at the Alamo and go, "Oops, misread that text."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and the movie started in 45 minutes. Like, I guess I'll watch it again by myself.
Oh,
because I totally misread the text. Sometimes it happens when I work because I only glance down. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And then I look and I'm like, oh, whoops.
I remember that. That was so funny.
That's all right. I mean,
Ryan,
there's
I'm
worse
being
ways
killed.
to spend.
Oh, look, Zach's killing it at work today.
Yeah. All right.
Losing his mind.
Butts is what Kellen said.
Yep.
Butts.
Hey, Kellen, are farts funny?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to tell you guys a funny word. I like dweebs who have butts on them.
He likes dweebs with butts on them.
I guess that's what he said.
Okay,
I don't know.
what?
That sounds like an amazing ska
I
band. Dweebs
was
with butts
sleeping,
on them.
and it was a monster got my desker.
He was leaking, and a monster got his desker.
It was close. It wasn't very close to the edge.
Yeah.
So I opened it up, and it was Palmer.
It
I
was
don't
Laura
know.
Palmer. Twin Peaks.
What? Tony Palmer.
She frost, don't
Yeah,
eat
from
the
the
clues.
All right, everybody, suck this.
From the toilet.
These nuts.
These nuts.
Wow.
I was watching Chappelle show when it's trading spouses.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and his little boy's like, D's. He's like, what does that mean? D's
I love when the kid goes G unit and he goes get your ass in the car.
Oh man.
He drops him off the side of the road like, okay, have fun.
Yeah.
Brad, you all right? You seem tired today.
Yeah, I am.
Do you need a hug?
No.
How was your screening on Saturday?
That was fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was it Screen and Tell?
Yeah, well, I just showed the Paradise Shake music video and answered some questions from the audience. Nothing.
Was one of the questions, why are you so great?
No.
No.
Next
time, I'll try to make it to your things, and I'll ask that question.
All right, cool. Thanks.
You have to wear a disguise.
I'm going to wear a monocle.
Yeah.
It's like a open screen night that's during the day and has a Q&A
That's
at
cool.
the end, so I just helped kick that off. So.
Nice.
And they have a featured filmmaker, but that wasn't me this time. So it is a long sit, though.
Yeah.
It's like a 5-hour event.
Wow. That is long.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like one intermission in the middle.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's been working on stuff. You
Cool.
know, like getting ready for our big events.
Guess what, guys?
What's up?
I'm from the toilet.
Butts and toilet.
All right.
Okay, Kelly, I want you to say, let's go around town with Brad.
And let's go around town with Brad.
Hey, film buddies, follow me around Denver.
Aww, it's the cutest Brad Around Town segment ever.
I'm still putting the regular thing in.
Oh, man.
This.
I'm just want to talk about Brad.
Wow.
I don't care what you think. I'll do what I want on my podcast.
Kellen, apologize to my mom.
When you get older, you can start your own podcast.
Say, I'm sorry, Carol.
Anyways, what's going on around
Show's
town?
gonna be 3 hours long.
Kellen, stop now.
This week at the drive-in, I assume is still Shazam, Captain Marvel, and it isn't a romantic, so no reason to change it out in the second week. So
Seriously.
No.
Isn't it
I'm
romantic?
still. I'm shocked that we
be
claimed
young?
like, yeah, there's no way Captain Marvel is gonna get in there, and then like, yep, Captain Marvel is on that lineup. So
Yeah.
yeah,
They spent all their money on the first two movies.
I don't know if you saw, but like I was thinking about it because I went and saw the lineup last week, or I guess this weekend, and the first two movies are 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So the third one doesn't start till close to 11
1 o'clock.
p.m.
Yeah.
So I think it was like, hey, let's also just find a short, fun, light movie that's
Right.
That's
you know,
actually
not a kids' movie that
Yeah,
we get out of
that
there.
might actually keep people a little awake.
Yeah,
You know?
because also because of the daylight savings change, it also starts at like 8:39,
Yeah.
something like that. So it's rough,
Um,
but fun.
I was gonna say, it Chapter 2 might actually like be one of their bigger sellers within the year, because they said that It Chapter 1 did really good for them. So
That's funny.
but anyway, cool, right on. Shazam, Captain Marvel, and Isn't It Romantic?
Yep,
Is the Esquire open yet?
No.
Okay.
they're close though. It's supposed to be this summer, so
Cool. Well, good.
hopefully this summer means May to them.
The new policy though is no Brads allowed, so poor Brad can't go inside.
Hey, man, Marvel starts the summer in February now, so any time now would be summer.
Guys, guess what?
What?
This better be good.
What from the toilet?
Butts on the toilet. Man, if I had two guesses, I would have gotten it.
See, from my vantage point,
It's either
the way
chicken butt or butts on toilet.
See the way I'm hearing it, it still does sound like Twin Peaks.
It probably is dialogue in Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I love
It's
them.
it's the character in the lounge.
It's definitely more creative than 90% of the things David Lynch has made.
Yep.
Butts on toilet.
You're just mean.
My next movie is Butts on Toilets.
I'd pay to watch that.
Wasn't his last one just him painting for 2 hours?
Yeah, but you got it's. What's the difference between that and a Bob Ross thing? Well, I guess he doesn't-
Excuse me?
I guess
Bob
I
Ross
guess
is
the
over in like
difference
20
is
minutes.
As the young man at the table, you clearly don't understand Bob Ross.
Okay, excuse me. I guess the difference is Bob Ross talks calmer, whereas David Lynch probably yells while he's painting.
No. The difference is that Bob Ross is a talented person.
Talent person.
I'm editing myself as myself. The difference is that Bob Ross is a very talented person and an American treasure.
Okay.
And David Lynch can float if he meditates hard enough.
David Lynch made The Elephant Man, so no, I want him to stay here on the ground making movies.
I'm so pretentious. When you get my Criterion releases, there's no chapters.
Hey, Ryan, The Straight Story is a great film of his.
The Elephant Man is a wonderful film.
So there might be two. There might be two.
Eraserhead's really fun to watch.
That's almost as many good films as Martin Scorsese.
Okay, so now
Brad, is there anything else?
No, that was
Going
it.
on? Cool.
say Catching the Classics with Corinne is next.
Catching the Classics again next.
Hey nerds, Corinne here for part 18 of Catching the Classics, where I watch famous and popular movies I've never seen before and send in my reviews. This week I watched Seven. Yeah, the horror murder mystery movie with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt and Kevin Spacey. I'll talk about that later. Unfortunately, I knew pretty much everything about this movie going into it. I knew that the murders were based on the 7 deadly sins, that, Morgan Freeman's character was supposed to be this, very jaded, older cop, and that Brad Pitt was this kind of, eager, up-and-coming, wanting to prove himself detective, and that, I knew the whole thing at the end where, John Doe turns himself in, and they go out into the middle of the desert, and Gwyneth Paltrow's character, she, gets killed, and they send the box and everything, so, what's in the fucking box, all that, and that Brad Pitt shoots John Doe, so, yeah, pretty much knew everything about this movie, which, I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. I feel like it was kind of a bad thing, because then when you got to the end, I felt like the suspense and all the cool buildup that I might have been experiencing was gone for me, because I'm I already know what's in the box. I already know he's gonna, he's Envy, and, he wants Brad Pitt to be Wrath, and so, yeah, dang it. This is one of those times where I'm frickin' hell, people out there spoiling movies for me. Didn't really like it or hate it. It was okay. It was worth watching, but again, I think with the ending spoiled for me, I think a lot of the kind of the experience of the movie was gone. I know that there was the whole thing about how Morgan Freeman's character is trying to find reason to care or not be so jaded. And they kept bringing that up over the course of the movie, and by the end, I guess, it just didn't really land for me, personally, but, the performances were good. I really liked Morgan Freeman in the movie. I thought Brad Pitt did a pretty good job acting as, a little bit of a, overly emotional, in a way, detective, and Gwyneth Paltrow wasn't in it too much, but she did a good job, and yeah, Kevin Spacey is problematic, but I'll tell you that he pulls off playing a privileged white guy who's really, really creepy really well. So, there you go. I think the part of the movie I liked the best, weirdly, was the credits, actually, at the beginning. I thought it was kind of a different and interesting little credit scene. The music by Howard Shore was really good. That scene, I'm trying to think which one it is, where the music's kind of building up. I guess it's when they go to find the guy who, the sloth guy, that when it's burr, 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 that was really good music for that scene. So it really helped build up the tension, and yeah. So I'm gonna give 7 3 out of 5 stars. It was okay. It was worth watching, but I don't know if I'd ever need to watch it again. So, next time I'll be tackling Terminator 2. hope you all had fun at the movie this week, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.
Corinne, your review all hinges on the movie being ruined by the fact that you knew everything that was going to happen, and then you listed all the things that are going to happen, which means that now everybody listening has had the same experience.
James. Corinne has the upper hand now.
Yeah, it's a good movie, though.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that I more appreciate Scream for the staging of shots by Fincher. The mystery is whatever to me, but that's the movie I saw. I'm like, oh, this guy's kind of a cool filmmaker.
It's kind of like a smart person's version of Saw, is really what that movie is.
Yeah.
But I think the first, if you saw it for the first time and you didn't know any of what was going on, I think it's a cool, moody mystery, but it's not one that you repeat watch a lot because there's not a lot of value to it.
Well, I mean, I rewatched it a lot when I was like in high school, but I was on a Fincher kick.
Because
you were watching it for the filmmaking. You probably weren't watching it because
that's part
the
of it.
lessons of the film are so interesting, or like what it says about to you in your life is really.
I'll
great.
tell you, the first time I was compelled to watch any Fincher movies, I think it was that one and Zodiac within the same breadth of time. Because I was on a set interning on my summer break, and they kept saying, "What's in the box? What's in the box?" And it's these like older guys, and I was like, "What's that?" And they were like, "You've never seen Seven?" And I was like, "No." And they're like, "Go find Seven at the Blockbuster tonight," because Blockbuster was still around, guys.
Sure.
And so I got it, watched it, and then went back and like.
It's also one of those movies I think that's reputation has preceded itself. Like
it's still great. I think it's still great.
Well, but I also think that now, in a world where Fincher has made a lot of masterpieces, now that movie, you look at it and you're like, well, it's not as good at, he's topped that. It was a big deal at the time.
It's not the one I rewatched the most, though. So
of course not.
I mean, I'll go back to Zodiac 5 times more before I'll go back to Seven. But I still love Seven. I actually listened to an interview with Andrew Kevin Walker, who wrote it, on Blumhouse's Shockwaves thing. Did an interview with him.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about how like if it wasn't for Fincher, that thing was going to get rewritten and shot by another director in a totally maligned form. So Fincher accidentally got Andrew Kevin Walker's draft by mistake because the agent sent the first draft and not the revised draft by the other writer. And so he's like, I'm not interested in that other one, but this first draft's really good. And then that's how Seven becomes what it is. So.
I won't tell the story, Brad, about how I originally watched this movie starting in the middle and then.
Tell us about the DVD flipping, James.
I've told it a number of times. It was hilarious. You can go find it. In fact, Brad, go find it in the last 6 years and then edit it in right here. Right here. Everybody leave a quiet spot.
No.
Me, I'm James, and I watched the back of the Seven before I saw the beginning of it.
Is it my turn yet?
Man. No, that's not, Anyway, I did.
James, I don't know how DVDs work.
Well, okay.
A-side, B-side. Is it color-coded? Because I'm colorblind.
No, the A-side, B-side thing used to be for special features. There aren't that many movies out there where the movie was split in half.
Casino, Goodfellas. Oh, wait, you weren't watching those.
Yeah, those are all dog shit films.
And Dr.
I literally thought a lot about those movies this week because I watched a much better version
I'm
of
Martin
them.
Scorsese. I don't understand why James doesn't like my movies.
It's pretty obvious.
Is it? Is it?
Dog button.
I'm making silence, too.
So, since he's been in school a lot, his humor has gone from, just...
From highbrow, which it was.
Yeah, to just...
To terribly
to
influenced.
poop and butts and wieners. And,
yeah, that's Idaho Springs
wieners
education
are still funny.
system for you.
I mean, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. But
there's an art to the structure of the joke that he's not quite grasping yet.
Right. Maybe one day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It takes a good 20 years at least to really learn how to make a good wiener joke.
For more details, see the new book, The Art of the Wiener Joke. I mean, it goes through the whole basics, guys, on how to structure those wiener jokes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks, Corinne.
Yeah, thanks, Corinne, for sending it
I'm
in.
so excited that next week she gets to watch a fun, enjoyable movie. Like, man. Say what you will about Terminator movies, but that one's good.
No, Terminator 2 is awesome.
She may not be able to call in because her face will be blown off from all the intense action from that movie.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, don't sit too close to the TV.
Yeah.
Instead of a call-in, we're just going to get the song You Could Be Mine by Guns N' Roses.
No. Cool.
Your step parents and your dog are dead.
Call to John.
So we also have movie news in a segment we call Movie News. MTV Movie News. I'm Kurt Loder.
It's real news.
So this week we got a still image from the next Eminem music video, which is called Morbius, the Living Vampire.
Morbius,
And it features just Jared Leto in his jacket.
So the song's probably
That's what
more blood, more face,
So
Morbius.
Oh man.
So by that definition, if I were to stand out in the street in my hoodie, I could technically be Morbius.
Yeah, I literally like this promotional still. I only bring it up because it's Spider-Man news in quotes.
Yeah.
And because the joke about Eminem was funny to me.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's literally just a picture of just regular ass Jared Leto with a beard standing on the street. Okay, actually, I'm sorry. When I say regular ass Jared Leto, I don't mean the way he is in real life where he looks weird. This is the way that Jared Leto looks if he wanted to look like a normal person.
Do you think working with Jared Leto would be really obnoxious? Because remember when he was the Joker and he was sending people used condoms and dead animals and stuff?
Working with him in a movie, yes. I think he's actually probably just fine when you're not working with him. Like, I think, like, you know, like the Free Solo guy has gone climbing with Jared Leto. I think that when the Free Solo guy goes climbing with Jared Leto, it's fine. If you're that kind of friend with Jared Leto, he's great. If you work with him, no. No one wants to hang out with Jared Leto.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't watch too many Jared Leto movies to watch BTS footage of them saying, like, yes, he's a dick, or yes, he's amazing. So.
Well, he literally sent used condoms to people. That's maybe my least favorite idea of how I want to work with anybody.
You know what? I like him in Dallas Buyers Club a lot.
Hey, it's not a conversation of whether or not he's good in the movie. It's a question of whether or not I would want to work with him.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't know. Like,
right.
I'd have to, like, meet and chat with him and hope that at the end of it he doesn't give me a used condom. So
fair.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how he tells you if he likes you. You know?
No, I think he's just kind of nuts and full of himself. But still.
Yeah, he's one of those method actors that's really annoying method.
Yeah. Brad, are you going to go see all 4 Batman movies this year?
I can't because Batman Returns plays when we do our live podcast
Aww.
May 6th at the Bug Theater. So that's out. Although
Anyway.
I guess if
I'll see it.
If I went,
It's like I'm not going.
if I went at 4 p.m. Screening, I could
Do they?
do it.
Is there more than one showing of it?
Every Highlands Ranch one I looked at had at least twice a day. So
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
4 and
That'd
7,
be
I think.
that would be a tight squeeze, but
Yeah.
you can do it.
But
well,
there's
we have to
AMC's
go to the
everywhere.
Harkins so that we're close to the Bug Theater.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm kind of tempted to go see Batman and Robin just cause.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, I couldn't find the Forever listing though. They didn't have that one up.
Oh,
So-
man. Because those are the ones, Forever and Batman and Robin are the 2 that I actually remember as a kid for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't go see because my parents looked at the trailers and went, no.
I remember. Like,
Let's go see Christmas Vacation or Vegas Vacation instead.
I remember looking at Forever's like in magazines how cool the production design looked,
Yeah.
and then never got taken to see the movie in theaters. But then like watched it later, being like, oh, this is different.
Yep. And you realize that Tommy Lee Jones is horribly miscast.
Yeah.
Yep, he was really popular at that time.
He's still a great actor. I'm just saying.
That was
But his
Doesn't work.
interpretation of Two-Face
Yeah.
is definitely for kids.
that was the other side of, you know, when you hear older actors say like, oh, I signed, like Patrick Stewart, where like, oh, I signed up for this because I didn't get it, but my kid said it was going to be great. The downside of that is the Tommy Lee Jones effect. The good ones are like Patrick Stewart as X-Men.
Or Ian McKellen.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Yeah, Ian McKellen doing anything he's done.
Yeah.
I didn't want to play James Whale, but my kids told me it'd be pretty fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I also don't think I have kids. I've never read this bio.
The Suicide Squad movie might be good.
Okay.
Because not only is Idris Elba not playing Deadshot anymore, and they're giving him a different character, but they're going to keep Viola Davis. Only maybe her character's story will make some sense this time.
I heard they're also keeping Jai Courtney. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Boomerang. And Captain Boomerang's going to come back, and maybe this time he'll throw a fucking boomerang.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, right. Yeah, they're getting rid of all the people who aren't shitty to work with. Jared Leto.
I figured this is what they were gonna do, and then if you think about it, like Deadshot's story kind of like wrapped up in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Did he have a story?
Yeah, he was trying to do, be a better dad for his kid.
And also, you don't.
All right.
And also, you don't really need Harley Quinn because she has her own little Birds of Prey thing happening on the other side. So
I think Harley have they said Harley Quinn's not in it anymore?
I'm
assuming she will be because like
I'm assuming she's not because one, they're doing the Birds of Prey thing, but two,
people are saying the footage from Birds of Prey looks good.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying, but this for the James.
Both.
Yeah, I think she'll be in this because she's the only like bankable character they have right now.
I don't know. All I've heard is like it's a reboot. It's not a reboot. It's a reboot. Jack Courtney's back. I don't know what's going on. Just give me Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Right. Can we film that first?
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Like, why do I have to wait?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm especially after this week. I am slightly excited for this. Like,
I have not seen Suicide Squad since the theaters.
I have no intention to.
I get bored enough that I might go revisit it, but
sure,
I don't know.
Yeah,
just depends.
Kumail Nanjiani was cast in The Eternals, which is weird because I didn't realize they were openly talking about this movie. But I guess they kind of aren't. It's just that like
they were trying to get
Hollywood Reporter has some source where they know
they're trying to get Angelina Jolie for it too. So
yeah, the word is that she's been cast in it. But it's a weird one.
But I am more than happy to see Kumail Nanjiani in anything. So,
agreed. Yes.
I saw the trailer for Stuber, and that looks funny.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's one of two Dave Bautista trailers I've seen within the past week. The other one was My Spy or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, I think he's literally. I feel like he went and got The Rock's manager, and is just doing the best he can to follow those footsteps, and that's fine.
When are they gonna fight each other, dude?
Hobbs and Shaw 2. No, maybe 3. Maybe Hobbs and Shaw 3.
No, their own thing. It's gonna be their own thing. Like
no,
tough guys.
No. They fight in Hobbs and Shaw 3.
Tough guys, Guise, and they're like in disguise a lot of the time.
Aha! There you go.
You guys
see, they disguise themselves as tough guys, but deep down they're emotionally hurt.
But you're missing the greater.
Except they're trying to kill each other.
But you're missing the greater universe here, which is actually that they fight each other first in Hobbs and Shaw 3, and then that movie, like then he becomes a good guy as well, and they become friends, and then that's where Tough Guys spins off.
Yeah.
See, so like your movie has to be a spin-off of this franchise, which is a spin-off of another franchise.
And then it becomes Hobbs and Shaw and Bubba, and that's.
Oh man!
I want Dave Bautista to do a southern accent, and it'll be hilarious.
Yeah. Umbrella Academy is getting a second season, Brad.
Cool.
So you'll get to
cliffhanger resolved.
Try to figure out whether or not the second season's kind of like the second trade. Maybe, I don't know.
I never read the second book. I haven't seen the show, never read the book.
They mixed both trades into the first season, so I think it's gonna be all brand new for
really?
season 2.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Season 4. This sentence is insane that I'm gonna say. Season 4 of Preacher will be the last season and will end the series.
I thought that show didn't exist.
Not only does it exist, but it didn't get canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So they're
just
ending it on
their so they're just ending it on their terms. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I mean, it may be one of those things where they said, "Hey, we're going to give you one more season," and so they're going to wrap it up.
Okay. Well, at least they give them a heads up.
Yeah. So yeah, which actually makes sense because Preacher is a thing that needs to be able to end.
Yeah, it's better than just telling the critic, "Hey, you're canceled," and not giving it a third fucking season. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm still stuck in anger from things that don't apply to me from the 90s.
To the critic.
I love the critic.
Yeah, but the critic isn't a like series long fight with God that needs a ending.
No, but it had Garrett Graham doing some funny shit.
Anyway, in maybe the best news of the week for me, or that I think, is that Netflix is making a live action version of Cowboy Bebop, in which they have cast John Cho as the lead.
Spike Spiegel.
Right. This is awesome. They cast. Let me restate this. Hollywood, California, has cast an Asian man in a cool guy role.
Good. Should have happened, I don't know, a fucking long time
ago. Oh, wait,
ago.
no, sorry, that's not true because it's Netflix, so they're not really Hollywood. But still, people making things have cast an Asian man in a cool guy role. This is progress, people.
In a cool guy lead role.
Yeah. Yes. Very true, Brad.
Yeah.
He's not the weird friend who's good at computers and gets a lady once in a while, but only has 2 scenes. No.
And it's an adaptation of an anime, right? I have no
yeah.
idea about Cowboy Bebop.
It's
Okay,
an
so
it's a really cool
so
character.
it's not
Yeah.
the same situation as putting Scarlett Johansson in the lead of Ghost in the Shell. So.
No, that's also you're right. They're also making an anime where they're casting Asian people, which is also good,
which I find cool.
but not as crazy as an Asian man playing a cool guy.
I didn't even think about that aspect of the news. I was just like, oh, cool, Jung Chao's getting some roles. Like, Searching must have been really good that like he's got some trajectory going again. So
yeah,
He's also
absolutely.
over 40 though, so
He
how
still
much
looks
mileage
like
are
he's
they
like
going to get
20.
out of that? Yeah.
Yeah, but also that character's a little bit, depending on how they tell the story, you could see that character being sort of this world beaten kind of guy. He should have he should have some city miles on him.
My question is, who are they going to cast as Ein
or
or Ed?
or Valentine.
The joke is any corgi could play Ein, but
I need to watch.
I don't know
It'll
what the
probably be
fuck you
CGI.
just said. But you're supposed
Oh
to.
yes, CGI dog. Yeah.
Give me
Probably.
the map, Ryan. Give me the map, Ryan.
No, I think it could be cool. I would totally watch that.
I need to watch Cowboy Bebop. Apparently,
You do.
yeah. Awesome.
Speaking of anime, it's not really a segue. There was some news this week that one of the writers who used to work for The Last Airbender. Sorry, let me say the full title: Avatar: The Last Airbender.
right?
Emphasis on the colon.
Came out and said, "Fuck you." Came out and said that before the M Night movie was happening, there was gonna be a 4th season, but then like they focused on the M Night movie and they never made the 4th season. And like I'm supposed to be mad at M Night, but I'm really not, because his version of the 4th season isn't really something I needed, and what I got instead was a 4-season long story that was way cooler.
So this is the long-delayed twist of Shyamalan's The
Right.
Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Like it didn't happen in the movie.
It wasn't just that he was trying to do a shitty adaptation. It was also that he was trying to kill it for all of us.
You've been Shyamalan.
Not only was this an embarrassing abortion of an adaptation, but also I killed season 4.
Also, I made Glass.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, so offensive as a late-term abortion.
Wow. That's
I don't know. You just said
that's actually
abortion.
really good. And then yeah.
Welcome back to the show, right?
Yeah.
Inappropriate.
We're
Your kid's upsetting you that much, huh? Thinking about abortion. How late can I get an abortion right now?
No, he's just really excited because he hasn't seen James in a while.
Oh, I feel like all my hopes for Disney live action films are just flushing straight down the toilet.
Okay.
As this week we find out that when Will Smith comes out of the genie bottle, he's going to rap for a bit, which sounds like
Well, he
so
can't sing, so
cringeworthy that I almost don't want to watch it.
I think Robin Williams did a rap in his movie.
Yeah, but he was Robin Williams and funny and entertaining.
Inappropriating black culture, but whatever.
Wait. I don't know that a medium. I don't know. There's a whole conversation
So,
there.
What movie are we talking? He raps in Aladdin.
Aladdin, yes.
What rap in Aladdin? I can't remember. It's really.
Oh,
sad.
I don't remember either. I assumed
He's
he did.
just yeah.
He was
I don't know.
92.
It's more that instead of singing, there's gonna be, and I
Oh,
think he's
that,
also sort of singing. But no, it was really just that. Yeah.
40 Thieves.
Yeah, at CinemaCon this week when they were
Oscar
unveiling
here's
a
your
bunch
Oscar
of
allocation.
footage. Some of the footage was Will Smith rapping as a big blue CG monster.
Okay.
And I just don't.
You know what? You know what?
It's so hard. That's
I
what she
haven't-
said. Because you're going into. I think the genie might be Robin Williams' most iconic role.
Oh, sure.
And you're stepping into something where where Will Smith is charming. He does
Oh, yeah.
not have the comedic ability as Robin Williams.
No, there's a very easy solution to this, which is you have to Heath Ledger that character and make them not the comedic backbone of the film.
Agreed.
Like, that character needs to be a genie, and then you need to go figure out how to make that movie good in some other way. If you go back and watch the original Aladdin, 90% of why a kid likes that movie is because of the genie.
Yeah.
So you need to go figure out how to make that movie good without the genie,
And
and,
when you-
then put a genie in it.
and with the cartoon Aladdin, I mean, the genie's not in it that much.
No, but he is everything you remember.
Yeah.
He's half of the songs in that movie that are really good and catchy are Genie's songs. Like he has 2 of them, right?
I'd argue that A Whole New World is a really good, catchy song.
Yeah, but I said half, right?
Yeah.
So like, of the 3 songs I can remember in that movie,
And also, you're forgetting
2 of
Gilbert
them are
Gottfried's amazing performance as Iago.
I'm not.
I don't know. It sounds like you are.
I'm
Giving
not.
all the credit to.
But yeah,
I know too, and the Jafar doesn't seem as cool.
everything about that movie just
seems a little off.
the
but I have to
closer
see
it gets, the worse I feel.
I have to see it in context, and I mean, it has to be better than Dumbo, right?
It's the whole thing that I was such a huge. I remember walking out of Cinderella and thinking, this is such a great idea, and I want more of these. And it was a great dream for a while.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I walked out of Jungle Book.
And this year, as I get 3 more of them, I'm going,
what have I done?
Anyway, we also got a trailer for Joker this week.
Oh, you mean Taxi Driver 2?
I am totally on board with this movie.
Totally,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks fun.
I said before the podcast, like, it's interesting to watch the DCU, like, suddenly become a really interesting collection of films. If you only look at the ones that don't have any of the Justice League in them, like,
well, they started going backwards where they're taking their biggest properties and putting them together, and they're making Man of Steel, then Justice League and Wonder Woman. And then they said, wait, this might not work. Let's do Aquaman and Shazam. And now we're going to put in the Joker. And you're doing Iron Man, Thor,
But it's so confusing. I mean, they're treating it like comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Marvel, where they're trying to have everything tie together and be part of a larger world, they're allowing their franchise to be like, well, we got this right over here doing Joker, and then we got this right over here also doing Joker.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to live in a world where 2 different
I guess we're just going to have Crisis on Infinite Earths soon.
That's basically what they are, literally creating the same tragic mess that is their comics history in film. And it's fine because sometimes it means that sometimes you get the Killing Joke, even though it doesn't make sense in the version of the books of Batman that are being made at the same time, right? Like, it may not fit, but we get this really cool, crazy thing. Like, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
Like, this looks like one of those movies you're going to really... It looks like the Logan of their universe to some degree.
I mean, you got a really great actor in Joaquin Phoenix playing Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I found it interesting looking at that trailer. Like, I kid about it being Taxi Driver 2, although
that's kind of what it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and so
that was in a pitch room at some point.
Yeah,
like, they clearly said that,
which makes me wonder if that's why Scorsese was attached at one point. I don't know if he's still attached to producer or whatever, like because he was like an EP on it or something. But like, it's interesting to think like, wow, is this the template for how you get like really interesting original ideas? As if like, well, can it apply to an IP that already exists, and then you get it out there? Because like, if this movie isn't rated R, I'll be kind of surprised.
No, I'm pretty sure it is. I think
It's
everyone
gotta be.
mentioned it was going to be.
Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome to the Warner Brothers production meeting. Everyone write your favorite movie on a piece of paper, throw it in this hat, and we're going to adapt these movies
oh shit!
to DC character
Holy
movies. So,
shit!
Big. All right, that's a good one. We can do that. Taxi Driver, that'll work.
You just hit it on the nose.
Splash. We did that one, and it made a shit ton of money.
Wow, man.
Yeah, Splash.
Splash is what?
Splash is
Mermaid
Aquaman,
movie.
It's not really.
or isn't it?
What DC
No.
one is it?
Aquaman.
Oh.
No.
Is it?
Yeah.
not
Is
really.
Splash that like meandering and almost 3 hours long?
No.
No, fish out of water.
No, Splash is badass.
Yeah, Splat. Sorry, Brad. Sorry, Brad. We should have said Aquamarine. Aquamarine.
That one either.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, in
you
Splash,
just referenced an
Darahana plays a
obscure
mermaid,
2006
and she
film
falls
that
in love
no
with Tom
one
Hanks.
saw.
So
That movie
and
came out when I
she's
worked at
mermaid?
Blockbuster.
She can only
That
stay on
movie
shore
came out
for
when
so
I was still
long.
working. Well,
Okay,
no.
The Little Mermaid.
Oh no, it was at the Blockbuster when I was still working at the theater, and I'd see it on the shelves and be like, "What the fuck's this shit?"
Actually, you're right. Little Mermaid is closer to Aquaman than
That's Brad.
Okay,
yeah,
there
okay.
you go.
Yeah. Anyway, that's really good, man. So
Just
what's
saying.
what is Birds of Prey?
Yeah, I don't know. Nicholas Winding
Widows.
Refn
Top
movie,
Gun.
'cause that's all
Yeah.
he had is that little teaser so far.
The teaser of looks like screen tests.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the
see.
poster
They
photo
are.
shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Cool. Anyway, that's news.
Movies come out on Blu-ray. I don't think very good ones this week, but we'll talk about them.
Few. DVD releases and Blu-rays. At the top of the list is A Dog's Way Home. The movie that didn't try to drown a dog.
Oh,
Based on Homeward Bound, based on the
and
Incredible
keeps
Journey.
annoying me on YouTube ads.
Also on Blu-ray this week is On the Basis of Sex, the Ruth Bader Ginsburg movie.
Still need to see that.
Yeah, I know. I almost rented it a couple weeks ago, but I saw something else,
Yeah.
which I'll talk about later.
There you go.
Welcome to Marwin, which is that. Man, I wanted to, and then I saw reviews.
yep.
Brad
It
saw
was
it.
very disappointed.
Brad saw it.
Yeah.
I watched it. It's fine.
Okay, maybe I'll rent it.
It's interesting.
Cool. I like
Different.
interesting. Holmes and Watson is that on Blu-ray this week?
I saw that one.
It's interesting. It's different.
No. Could have been something. Could have been interesting.
I meant to check on whether or not this was. I don't know. There's an anime called Mirai that I meant to check and see whether or not it looks like a Ghibli, but it doesn't say on the cover. So it might be.
It's got the lead of the new Cowboy Bebop Netflix series in it.
Oh.
You didn't remind me. I just remembered.
That's right. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah, it doesn't say whether or not
I
it's Studio
remember
Ghibli,
now.
but it's some kind of anime movie called Mirai. Maybe check it out. There's also a first season of something called
Yeah.
Project Blue Book. I don't know what this is, but it's got aliens, so maybe that's a thing. Then from Criterion this week is Stranger Than Paradise, the Jim Jarmusch movie, and Night on Earth.
Night on Earth.
Yeah, it's a different movie from Criterion. I don't know.
I don't know.
I only am reading it out loud because it's from Criterion.
Oh yeah.
Moving on.
I know who Jim Jarmusch is.
From Chef. No, the first movie was Jim Jarmusch.
Okay.
And I already closed it. Don't remember what it was.
All right.
You can rewind the podcast if you want to find out.
Sweet, I will.
You're not going to buy it. Out this week from Shout Factory with a really awesome title is The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires,
Nice.
which has a pretty
Nice.
fucking dope.
It's a kung
cover.
fu vampire movie.
Yeah, this looks
That-
great.
I heard they tried a long time to get, and I don't know.
Is this under Scream or Shout?
Scream.
It's a
Okay,
Hammer. I'm assuming it's a Hammer movie because
Hammer horror.
Hammer
Dragon
horror,
Thrills.
Dragon Thrills,
What's
the
Dragon
first
Thrill?
kung fu horror spectacular.
This looks like fun.
Yeah, there are 3 exclamation marks on this cover,
Done.
and not in a row. So that's pretty great. And then out this week from Arrow, an almost better title, the iguana with the tongue of fire.
Nice.
Which does not have as good of a cover, but it does have a pretty damn good title. That's pretty great. And then the very last thing out on Blu-ray this week, the real star of the show is 1974's Emmanuel,
Oh shit.
and then Emmanuel 2, and then Goodbye Emmanuel,
Yeah.
which is the Emmanuel 3 title. But they don't have Emmanuel in Space, which is the only one that we had at my Blockbuster.
If you want to watch Sex 2 and Sex 3,
If you'd like to watch some softcore pornography from the 70s,
yeah.
you can get all 3 of the original Emmanuel films on Blu-ray now
Apparently at one,
from Kino Lober.
I'm trying to remember. I believe I heard in an interview
guys,
recently
guess
that
what?
they showed like a
What,
bunch
Kellen?
of them at the New Beverly.
Butts,
Is it butts?
kissing
Yeah,
the
it's butts.
butt.
Butts in the butt.
Butts kissing the butts.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
Did you book
no.
this guy a stand-up show yet?
I know.
They're sexploitation films from
Oh,
back
yeah,
in the
yeah.
70s. But they do have a European reputation to them, like where they have like there's there's an aura of class to them that I'm not too familiar with.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, they're
I have seen an Emmanuel movie. I just don't remember which fucking one. So
yeah, no, they're that.
I don't remember the title.
They're the star. I bet it was probably Emmanuel and then something.
Yeah.
Emmanuel in waterbed. That's all I think about when it's like 70s porn is a waterbed.
Yeah.
Wait, who's Manuel?
All
Like a Scott joke.
all I think about is Rocky just doing this in a circle. with some other dudes.
Dude, like, I mean, I don't know. It seems to be the most notable of those ones that you would find in those. Like, I bought those box sets, like those Grindhouse box sets after Grindhouse came out, where it's like these are the ones that Tarantino selects and whatnot. I mean, it made me get the box set. I didn't watch all of them. Like, there were some good action ones in there. And
Okay, you got this box set that I have.
Ryan, I have to apologize in advance because I have to make this joke because I thought of it.
Okay.
But the only thing I think of when I think of 70s, like, sexploitation films is Ryan's wife.
Yeah. And that's okay because they're still in our... So we have like a DVD section.
I went and saw the Italian Stallion with Laura like 10 years ago.
We have that DVD if anybody wants to.
No one should see that piss poor movie. Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's sitting on my shelf.
Hey, there's this 3D. It's a 3D version.
Yeah, with dicks coming right at you.
Hey, Ryan, can you give me that back, man?
There's just...
You know, I needed to pay rent, and an adult film seemed like a good idea.
I'm trying to self-finance this movie called Rocky that I want to do.
That's a movie I really want to do.
And I don't appreciate you making fun of my debut.
Mentally regular or something.
I'm going to go feed my turtles now.
I like turtles.
But yeah.
Anyway, that's Blu-rays.
Yeah.
We also watch movies.
Yes, we
that
do.
We're going to tell you about, and movies we watch throughout the week that we're going to tell you about.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
I'll start with this one. I went to the Alamo Movie Club for the first time in a long time.
Cool.
I saw a movie called Knife Plus Heart, which I saw as a poster at the Alamo, and I was like, oh, that girl looks like Charlize Theron, so it's like some European movie that she did, and, you know, sucked, so they didn't release it. But the Alamo picked it up, and it is not that. It's, if you want to see a movie where a guy gets fucked in the face with a dildo, and then that dildo becomes a switchblade.
I had no idea you were going to say that.
Wait. First, nope. But, yeah, okay. Is it... Okay, first answer this. Is it Charlize Theron?
No. There are no known stars in this movie. It is very French. It's like
Brad's definition of French
I've heard
knife dildo in the face.
I've heard it mentioned on a couple horror podcasts. So it's a horror film, right? Or
it's a horror
or
mystery
thriller.
Okay. The host called it a queer murder mystery.
Oh, okay, cool.
So there's this woman. She's a porn director, and she's in a relationship with her editor. And then, meanwhile, there is all the guys in her gay porn. Someone's murdering them.
It sounds like you're telling the story of how the movie got made, not the movie itself. There's this female director. She's having an affair with her editor.
Now I remember the podcast that I heard talked about this said that it's actually based on a porno, and at one festival they showed Knife Plus Heart and the porno it was inspired by afterward. So
okay. That's Penis in Heart.
Brad's the only one who's seen it. Brad, so like, what did you like it or not?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Beyond it just being shockingly and just being shocking, it was like hard to follow anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does the guy make it through the dildo blade?
No, he dies.
Okay.
It goes to the back of his neck.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
He just got fucked.
That's a really rigid dildo.
Well, it's a switchblade, so
that's true.
There's like
right.
a 6-inch blade inside.
That's
already
true.
like 8-inch dildo.
So it's 14 inches of death.
So many technical
and he was,
specs.
He just did heroin, so there was no consent. Someone took advantage of him, so there's that too.
Okay.
Man, that sounds awful.
It's bleak and weird and not for me.
I'll check it out at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck. The next thing I saw at the Alamo was The Field Guide to Evil.
I saw a trailer for that. I wanted to see that.
I kept it's an anthology horror film, much like in the vein of the ABCs of Death.
Yeah.
Except for this one, the next movie would come up and be like, another one. So
pretty great.
Yeah, they're just kind of short. Like, they're not even scary. The American one's probably the worst one. they're films from all over the world, but they're just kind of like too short to really go anywhere. And they often end with some ambiguous ending that you're like, what? Like, where'd that come from? So, yeah.
It happens a lot in foreign horror.
Okay.
They're not very literal, I guess.
Yeah, which,
It's subtext, guys.
I couldn't. If they were trying for more, I can't figure out what it was.
I don't know. I haven't read any reviews for it, so I wasn't like sure if I was going to go or not. But I mean, I also didn't know when Alamo was going to.
I'm sorry. Did you mention ABC's of Death? Because
as like what it's like.
Yeah.
But it feels like, hey, can we squeeze one more of these anthology films out?
Because on the ABC's of Death, you'd be like, oh, this one sucks. This one sucks. This one sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. This one sucks. This one sucks.
Yeah. Plus, those are like. There's 26 of them, so they're really, really short. Whereas these, I don't know, there were probably like 10 of them.
Being forced to be shorter makes them actually like not. They don't try to achieve anything, so they don't have like the expectations are not as high.
Like the best ones you remember, and the worst ones you just completely forget about.
Right. Yeah, and they waste less of your time if they're shorter.
Whereas this is like they're all long, so you're just like.
Yeah. How many are there?
I think there's. I mean, it felt like there's 20, but it's probably like 10.
Okay.
And most of them are kind of the same idea, where there's like some dark force possessing people or convincing people to do things, or, yeah. So,
okay,
cool.
Yeah.
The Field Guide to Evil.
Did you see anything good this week, Brad?
Our headliner movie. Spoilers for that review. On Netflix, I rewatched Pineapple Express and Observe and Report.
Great.
And Dukes of Hazzard, which are.
I liked Observe and Report more than when I saw it the second time.
I like two of the titles you just mentioned.
Yeah, Pineapple Express. I hadn't seen it since the theater. I didn't like it when it came out, and this is nothing much has changed. It's like definitely, I guess if you're into pop culture, it makes more sense. Observe and Report is also weird, but the only like the part where the guy's running nude through the mall and then Seth Rogen just comes out and shoots him.
Yeah,
behind Anna Faris, like that's the most like creative and interesting part of the movie. Like you're like, oh shit. And then the Dukes of Hazzard, I hadn't seen it at the theater, and it's still kind of fun, but it's just like it's from that era.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun, forgettable comedy.
Yeah, like adaptation of a TV show that they're like, hey, let's just get like.
I'm Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
And this is Dukes of Hazzard.
Because I doubt the Dukes of Hazzard TV show had a lot of like people getting hit in the face with phone books or, there's probably more of a plot. Yeah.
Man, remember when Jessica Simpson was?
Mm-hmm.
That was fun when you just stopped it.
That's a way to eat yourself out of a career.
Wow. No, that was mean. To be fair, people stopped listening to her once she didn't know what tuna was.
Then
that was a show.
God. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That woman let people into her house.
What was the name of Jessica Simpson's show?
Oh, I don't know. The Simpsons of Love. 3 in a house on our way to divorce.
But I remember it was a big deal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was when MTV was making money.
The last thing I watched on Netflix was Unicorn Store, which is Brie Larson's directing thing, which oddly enough has Samuel L. Jackson in it.
Nice.
They're best friends. I don't know if you've heard. They've done at least 2 movies together. It's
3.
Awesome.
Kong Skull Island.
Wait, so what was the second? What was the second one?
Captain Marvel.
What was the first one?
Unicorn Store.
So Unicorn Store.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're counting this one. Okay, never mind. Yeah, all
right. And that's like, I don't know. It's just kind of about this girl who, is really into like rainbow like art that's rainbows and stuff. Really cute. But then, I guess she has her art thesis, and then they reject her art. So she comes depressed, goes back to live with her parents, and then just kind of finds her way, gets invited to this store that's called the Unicorn Store that Samuel L. Jackson's running, and tells her like, hey, if you do this stuff, you'll get a unicorn at the end of it.
Oh, okay.
And so she starts befriending people like, hey, I need to make a stable for my unicorn that I'm going to have, but she can't tell people it's a unicorn yet. So she has to convince them to like do the stuff. And then by the end of it, it's really about like moving on from the stuff that like got you through like growing up.
Yeah.
And like moving on in your life. So it's interesting, but it's not really like too memorable.
Okay. It's on Netflix. I'll check it out.
It's kind of like this heightened reality thing where like the dialogue is really like quirky in places, and yeah. And the last thing I saw was at the drive-in, which is Incident Romantic. So
Pick that up. What
is that?
That's the what's her name?
It's Rebel Wilson.
Rebel Wilson.
Oh yeah.
Romantic comedy that's making fun of romantic comedies, which does that pretty well, poking fun at all those tropes. And at the end, it all builds up to loving yourself instead of like trying to find someone else to.
Because if you don't love yourself, then you can never love anybody else.
I learned that from the movie I Feel Pretty.
Cool.
No, I didn't.
I own that movie. It's not bad.
I haven't seen it yet. Henry says it's good.
That's a good movie. Yeah.
Shoot, there was one really good joke that I can't remember what it was, but it rides this weird line of like being really raunchy in places and then being traditionally romantic comedy safe. I can't remember what
don't
it was.
Don't they make a joke that is like, and it's PG-13?
Oh, you mean it's Trainwreck?
I didn't see Trainwreck. So yeah, that's all I watched this week.
Zach,
cool. I watched a couple things. I rewatched a documentary called The Dawn of Sound, which is basically about how the films went from the silent period all into the talking period, and kind of like the in-between where some movies were like part talkie, part silent. And that's always an interesting watch. I'm trying to look into like how they were able to balance out musical sequences in these silent films and like basically what constituted entertainment from 1929 up to around 1931. That's like this weird mid-period where the silent films died out. No, the Hays Code made sure that wasn't happening, Ryan.
At that time, all naked women had to not move.
I just wondered how Hayes saw all these movies. You know?
Oh, I'm fairly sure he didn't. I'm pretty sure.
Of course he didn't.
No, yeah.
He only watched the naughty bits.
Don't get me started on the Hays Code and this historical thing that pisses me off.
We won't.
Rewatch Psycho. Pretty classic film. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Which
Alfred
one?
Hitchcock's Psycho. Yes. Not Gus Van Sant's Psycho. Although I do have that on Scream Factory Edition, and I may rewatch it again at some point.
The full title is Gus Van Sant's Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
David Gordon Green's John Carpenter's Halloween. But yeah, no. I had never seen it on Blu-ray before though, and on my TV looked fucking incredible. Looked like it was shot yesterday.
Cool.
It's amazing. And I like rewatching that film. Like no matter how many times I watch that film, Anthony Perkins disarms me. So then I get caught in the trap of like, oh no, he's the killer.
Yeah.
Even though I know it throughout the whole time, I'm just like, I don't want it to be him. Can it not be him? Can he just be a nice guy who makes sandwiches for friends? Yeah, go right ahead, bud. So yeah, I rewatched that. Were we gonna hold off on the remake of Pet Sematary, Brad? Okay, then never mind. I won't talk about it. But I did see that. I rewatched watched a movie for the first time called Motel Hell, which is a Scream Factory that I found at my work. And the story is Farmer Vincent and his sister Ida have they smoke meats that they sell at the hotel that they run, and the meats come from people who they kidnap off the side of the road.
Come from people
and plant in their garden.
To make it like so everything's buried except for their heads. They slash they cut their vocal cords so that so they can't make any sounds, and then they leave their heads sticking out of the ground so they can fatten them up and then hypnotize them with psychedelic lights so that because he believes to kill them they have to be sanitary or humane about it. So he hypnotizes the people who are in the ground with psychotronic lights or whatever, so that when he puts a noose around them and pulls the nooses with his tractor, it breaks all their necks at once. And then he puts them in the truck, and then they skin them, and then they smoke them in the smoker.
Why work so hard? If you're gonna be crazy, don't work so hard.
Here's my problem with this film, and I know. And before I say this, Ryan, you were right. This movie is just silly fun, and we should just leave it at that. This film takes itself too seriously at times, that it doesn't become a horror movie or a comedy.
There's a dude who's wearing a pig head who fights with a chainsaw.
See, and that happens at the end, and it's amazing.
That sounds cool.
But like it's riding this line between dark comedy and horror film that I don't think it straddles correctly. Whereas, like the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a wonderfully scary film, but it is also a comedy. And the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a full-on comedy that has horrific elements in it. And those films do it really well because Tobe Hooper's a solid director. Whoever's directing this I think it's literally just I'm shooting the script as it is. There's no real style to it. I will say that the visuals of the guys in the garden are terrifying. That was one of the things, like, when I saw it on the poster, I'm like, oh, that looks like, I don't like buried alive shit. So, like, that, like, freaked me out a little bit. But then when you watch it, you're just like, oh, this is adorable. Like, they're just like,
it's adorable.
Yeah, it is pretty adorable. I'm not going to lie.
Zach's weakness.
Yeah, go ahead, bury me alive, Brad. Do it. Yeah. But no, I mean, like, it's fine. Like, I would rewatch it, but it is, like, also, it's an hour and 40 minutes, and it drags. But I like the gal playing Ida, the sister. She's insane and crazy. The only thing I remember for her from is Porky's. And it's Rory Calhoun plays Farmer Vincent, and he's fine in it. I mean, there's times where I wish he'd be a little bit more diabolical, but like the whole point of the character is that he thinks he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And so like I did like the last line where he's just like, I'm the biggest hypocrite in the world. I used preservatives. I lost my shit with that one.
It's a weird movie, and it's hard to recommend because I mean I really like it, but it's so weird.
Yeah, but it's not so violent that I don't think James wouldn't get a kick out of it. But
no, I don't know. It's hard to recommend.
Well, the ending is. I like it when they all get out of the ground though, and they like go after the sister and whatnot. And they're just like basically they're zombies because their throats are cut, so they can't. So all they're doing is like gargling. Like it's this weird gargle sound like they make because their vocal cords have been cut. But anyway, Motel Hell. Not the best horror movie in the world. One of the best horror movies in the world, though, Night of the Living Dead. I rewatched that on my 4K TV with the Criterion edition. That movie's still fucking amazing. I was just marveling at Dwayne Jones's performance in that movie.
When he's talking in front of the fireplace is amazing.
Yeah. Consequently, though, I wanted a break from all the depressing stuff, so I rewatched Night of the Living Dead right after it with the Riff Tracks commentary, which I'm not always down for like making fun of classic films, but they did it pretty well. I can never remember his name, but it's the dad character who's got his family in the basement. Harold, yeah. So Harold, like he keeps like getting so angry throughout. They make it a running joke in the Riff Tracks, and at one point there is a shot where Harold looks towards the camera but not right in the camera, and Mike Nelson just goes, "Stupid audience, why are you watching?" And then it was a fun one. I
have a hard time with watching those, and I mean, Corinne sent me a link for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Honest trailers, and I can't watch that stuff.
Oh, Riff Tracks is better than Honest Trailers.
Honest Trailer couldn't think of anything negative to. Yeah. They just gushed over it the whole time.
For which one?
Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
And then I rewatched The Exorcist, which still a great film. I like that film. One of the reasons I realized rewatching it, those priests drink, smoke, and curse, and it's pretty funny. Because when I was growing up and going to church, none of my pastors did that. So,
I'll let you know.
Not that I knew of. But anyway, and then the last thing I watched was I went through Eli Roth's History of Horror series on AMC.
It's good.
It's all available on Shudder, so I binged that whole thing in a night. I liked it for the most part. I really liked the zombie episode up until the last 10 minutes.
I don't remember refresh.
It's primarily because I don't really watch The Walking Dead, and it was a lot of talking about The Walking Dead.
There are 3 of those shows now.
Yeah.
That show is going to have new episodes every week from like
I must confess
Memorial Day to the fall.
I must confess I want to try to watch The Walking Dead now because I've only seen like the first couple of episodes of the first season.
Sure.
And
the first few seasons of the real show were great.
Yeah. So, but
Fear the Walking Dead has 5 seasons already.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But the slashers have 2 parts on it, and one of the funniest moments is Eli Roth giving Stephen King an action figure from Maniac. I thought that was adorable. And you hear they had to bleep it out, but you hear Stephen King going, "Oh fuck, nice!" And then they did vampires, ghosts, and movie monsters and stuff like that. They did a lot about Guillermo del Toro. I wish they had gotten Guillermo del Toro on the show.
Cool.
There's nothing really like super weird about it. Like I will say though, like they talked a little bit about Eli Roth's contribution to it, which is fine. Like he is a contributor to the, I guess you'd call it the torture porn era, but like I just call them they're just slasher films.
No, they're torture porn.
There's, it reminded me of like I mean, I don't know about Saw and whatnot, but like Hostel is a full-on commentary on like the culture at the time, whether people want to admit it or not.
No, it's fine. It can still be torture porn.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it leans heavily into that, but like I wish they had elaborated on it more. But maybe like somebody can do a documentary on that period of time where we were kind of like upping the ante on the violence, like in a 70s type way.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, Rob Zombie barely talked in the fucking documentary. That was the one thing that upset me is like they didn't really talk about his contribution to it. Like I mean, Devil's Rejects is a solid contribution to the genre.
Yeah, but is he? Yeah,
he's more of a fan. Like he's speaking as a fan more often than not in the series, which is fine. I mean, like they talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he was like, "That's the world I want to live in," and I'm like, "Yeah, I figured that by the movies you've made." But yeah, no, I mean, and they talk a lot about a bunch of other stuff, but I mean, it was fun to sit down and like just go through that whole thing. Wish they had talked more about international horror, but that's whatever. So yeah, that's all I watched this week.
Cool.
James?
I rewatched The Place Beyond the Pines, which is still great and is as I was watching it this time, it's the Ryan Gosling, Bradley Cooper movie.
It's Derek Sean Francis film, yeah.
Yeah, so as I was watching it, I was thinking like, man, this is really like the crime epic that I think other people think that Martin Scorsese movies are. But like, this is really a very intelligent movie about crime and violence, and it has something really important to say.
I still haven't seen it, so I'll have to borrow it from you so that I can tell you you're wrong. But
no, I'm very right. I mean, it is a movie that, I mean, it is basically it's almost like an anthology film that just goes through sort of these three little stories.
Okay.
And it's one of those things that, like, when you sit down ready for a 3-hour drama that's quiet and about crime.
3 hours long?
Pretty much. Yeah, it's like 2.5, 2:40, something like that. Apparently it's only 2:20, but man, it feels like 3 hours. Because there is a lot of just slowness to it, and then there will suddenly be a crime sequence where they rob a bank, and then it'll slow down again. But anyway, I think it's great. It's definitely worth checking out. I also rewatched Get Out, which is still great, and better than I remembered. Mostly in a response to the fact that I went and saw Us, because a week after we did our podcast, or after I was on the show with you guys, where you guys talked about it, and then I went home and I brought it up with Brooks, and she was like, "Oh, I would go see that." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So she and I went and saw it. And that movie sucks. It's too bad because the first 2 acts are great. The first 2/3 of that movie are like a really solid, if maybe overhyped horror movie. That's like really entertaining. The first 2/3 are probably better than Get Out. And then everything in the third act, from when they go downstairs, undermines everything good about that movie, to the point that when I left, I was like, man, everything you could have used that movie to say is ruined. And it took me like, it was one of those things where like I had to Brad was actually at the theater, so I walked out, and Brooks and I are standing there, and Brad's sitting there waiting to go see Dumbo, which, for the record, I'm sure he had it worse off than I did. But
Dumbo didn't ask a lot of me. So.
Fair. So I walk out of the movie, and I didn't want to I was like, man, I gotta go. Now I needed to go read stuff or watch videos about Us or something. Not because I didn't understand it. Like, I was pretty sure I got it. And I was afraid that I got it because I really wanted somebody to explain something different to me and tell me that I was stupid. Because instead, I and sure enough, like, if you go watch like the Wisecrack video that they did on Us, where literally here's some guys who've like studied philosophy for a long time, and they started and they're like, yeah, we've seen this movie like 7 times, and we can't quite figure it out yet. And it's not because the movie's that smart; it's because the movie undermines itself so constantly. And it's really unfortunate if the end of that movie, if none of the basement stuff happened and literally that movie just ended and then did the second twist, which I saw coming but is a good twist.
Yeah.
I would have just been like, man, that's a good horror movie. What a nice little interesting Twilight Zone-y horror movie. Let's move on. And then it would have had all the same themes and motifs, and it would have been something you could have applied to something. And then as soon as you try to it's like a Twilight Zone episode where at the end they try to explain what the Twilight Zone is, and I was like, fuck, like, cut the whole opening card off of that movie and cut the third act and go home. Like, then that movie is great. But everything in the basement is just frustratingly bad. And so, yeah, it took me like a week before I was like, yeah, no, I'm pretty positive that movie is bad. Anyway, sorry, Zach.
That's just like your opinion,
Zach,
man.
put the knife down.
But a movie that is great.
It's like he's tethered to James.
I mean, great. Like, so good everyone should watch it, is If Beale Street Could Talk.
Yeah, that is a
which
great
I rented,
movie.
and man, is that movie fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, really simple little premise, not a whole lot of plot going on, but the drama, the acting, the way it's written is so good.
It's kind of going over a stretch of time, so it's not like
But it's really just about sort of these two characters and then the families around them.
Yeah, it felt more like about tiny moments than anything
Yeah.
too important for an act
Totally,
structure.
yes.
I
mean,
I've never read the book by James Baldwin. In fact, like
The
this
Forgotten Baldwin brother.
wow.
Hey, you know what sucks about being Baldwin?
Nothing.
But I mean, when Henry and I saw it, I was taken aback by just like how it was keeping me engaged through what was it? It felt like I was reading a poem or like
Totally.
something like just
yeah.
like I was just feeling
But not in not on a highfalutin like heady way, just in like a beautifully
like
written.
just someone really like pouring their heart out
passionate-
on a page,
Yeah.
and then putting it on a screen. But
Yeah.
like, because like the most story-ish scene in the film is the scene that gets Regina King her Oscar. But it's only because it's the only one that's filled with plot stuff.
Yeah, it's the only time where a character is trying to do something.
Yeah.
Which is weird. So anyway, let me roll
anyway,
back.
go.
So it's the story of a young black woman who, she's, I don't know, 17, 18, something like that.
Yeah, she's very young.
She's, young, but on the edge of being an adult, sort of. Finds out she's pregnant. Her boyfriend has recently been accused, or the father of the baby, has recently been accused of a crime and is currently in prison.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out how to get him out.
Yeah.
And I mean, the first 40-ish minutes, maybe 30 minutes, is really just like her telling her parents and worrying about it, and then her telling his parents and all of that drama, and you get like these two wildly different reactions. That, if the movie had ended there, I'd have been like, this is one of the best movies.
Yeah.
It was just so well acted and so like you so give a shit about these characters, even though like the stakes are high. The stakes are their lives, but we're not watching something crazy. There's not a lot of plot going on, right? It is a very real life little situation.
I feel like that film does something that I haven't felt in a while. I mean, other than maybe Moonlight, where it puts you in the position of those characters, both culturally and just on a personal level.
Yeah.
And you have to sit with that.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'm other than I Am Not Your Negro, the documentary that came out, I was not really familiar with James Baldwin and like,
right.
and I haven't read the book, but like it puts you in the position of feeling what those characters feel on like all sorts of levels, so that by the time you walk out of that final shot, it's both a gut punch and like somehow you feel like things could be okay.
Yeah.
But like you have to not deny the surrounding stuff going on in that final shot.
It is both a heartbreaking and beautifully romantic little movie. It's wonderful.
I wish I had seen it before Film Explosion, because it would have made it on there easily.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I would say that's also true. It would have been one of my top 10 last year. So anyway, that's everything I watched. I'm also watching a lot of Game of Thrones,
Nice.
and it's still okay. So yeah,
I like it.
Right?
Not too much. I rewatched Pet Sematary '89 because I've never been a really big fan of it, and watching it again, I actually like it a little more than I remember.
I was a big fan of that trailer when Zach made us unfortunately watch it.
Yeah, it's still just a shad too cheesy for me.
Right.
A tad too cheesy for me. But there's still some parts in it. Actually, I appreciated it more. I read an interview with Stephen King on EntertainmentWeekly.com, where he talked about the reason he wrote Pet Sematary was a fulfillment of his original contract with his first publishing company.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to write it. And they said, well, if you don't, when you die, it's going to affect your estate and all your children. So he was because they would.
What's this deal? He signed a deal with the devil here.
No, the publishing company would go after the royalties.
Sure, yeah.
And
the publishing company's Pennywise.
Yeah, right. So they're like, you should just fulfill your contract with them. And he says, all right, so I'm going to write the most depressing, fucked up thing I can think of, and he wrote Pet Sematary. So the story behind it's a little more interesting, and the movie's there. It's all right.
Cool. It's got Fred Gwynn in it. It's
funny.
already okay.
Yeah,
it's funny that then he didn't want to write the book, but then wrote the script for the movie adaptation.
Yeah, and it's a really great article. You should really read it because he when he's talking about, he oscillates about how it came from such a dark place. He ended up enjoying the process.
Well, it's interesting just because Stephen King's never been a man to turn down a check. So
do you think the studio a studio went up to him and said, okay, Steven, if you don't finish Maximum Overdrive, it'll affect your future.
He's like, hang on, let me do some more coke, and it'll be good to go.
Hold on. Yeah. Oh, shit, all these cars are going to attack people.
Then a kid ran up and went, man, I really like Cujo. And he goes, what's that book? I've never heard of that book.
You know what? I haven't watched the movie, but they talked about it on the AMC series, and I would love to watch that movie now.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. I missed a horror film last year called The Possession of Hannah Grace, and I thought the premise looked interesting. It's about a woman who dies during an exorcism, and her corpse is still possessed by the demon. Whoa. And so it's raising hell in the morgue.
What happens if the exorcist wins?
Yeah, so the premise is awesome. When you watch the movie, you're like, I've seen every single one of these scares. I've seen every single one of these premises. I've seen every single one of these tropes.
When's this movie from?
Last November.
Oh, okay.
So in it, this girl named Hannah Grace dies in an exorcism, and her body is sent to a morgue 3 months later.
Why?
Yeah. Well, you find out eventually.
Paperwork.
So the morgue attendant is this cop who was suspended because she has a drug problem because she was on a scene and she froze and her partner got killed. I don't know, whatever. And then she didn't work and her boyfriend broke up with her, and so now she's in this morgue that has really high ceilings, and and it looks like something from
space for the ghost to float to.
Yeah. So it looks like Demolition Man, where it's all like concrete.
Sure.
And really, it just doesn't look. I mean, I've been to morgues; it doesn't look like that. And it's just really dumb. And to me, the body contortion and the
grudge of it all.
Yeah, it's not scary.
Sure.
And you can tell the director was bored because he doesn't do anything interesting with the shots. So he'll do a shot where
to set up the camera, do the scene over there.
Yeah. Well, there'll be a scene, so they'll have the actor in the foreground and they'll have Hannah Grace crawling on the ceiling.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And it just, you're like, whatever, who cares? and then the ending, it's really
wait. But she's crawling on a really high ceiling. It's cool.
That is true. But so in this morgue too, they have motion sensor.
I just wish you were watching the theater, so you just blurt out yeah, whatever, who cares?
But this morgue has
seen it.
Just arms crossed, shaking his head.
The Last Exorcism did it. So this morgue has motion censored lights, and I go, why?
So you don't have
in
to
case
touch
of
the
fire,
because they saw Halloween a month earlier.
But they but they
to
make
save energy on their electricity bill, Ryan.
They
you got to use
but
both hands to carry bodies. So
they also have red lights everywhere, so it doesn't make any sense.
Because the ghosts don't trip the sensors.
Oh, it does. So that's why it's scary. So there's this. So there's about 50 establishing scenes of her entering a room and waving her hands for the lights to turn on.
Which, hey, at least that's realistic to real motion sensor lights.
Yeah. But there's parts where she's like walking down a hall, and then the lights turn on, and there's nobody there. And she goes back and watches the security footage because she gets a pass code from the dudes who are like security guards, and she gets like, what? And there's like this blurry part, and it looks like Hannah Grace is walking, and she goes back to her like storage locker where the body is, and the body's still there, but it's healing and people are dying, guys. It's stupid.
Is there a scene in which she is in the bathroom on the toilet and she's a little constipated and takes her a little bit longer, and then the lights shut off while she's in there, and she can't wave her arms higher than the stall to get them to turn back on, so now she's just pooping in the dark?
No, but I will tell you, there is a scene in the bathroom where the hand dryer turns on, and there's nobody there.
Well, that just happens sometimes.
Yes. And then there's like this rubber band ball that rolls underneath when she's in the stall, and this hand grabs it.
But they didn't have rubber bands back then. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's so dumb.
Cheap children's toy.
And you know, I because I'm a police officer, some things bother me when I watch stuff now. But I can watch Lethal Weapon or Beverly Hills Cop. I'm like, that's fun. Who cares? And this one, she gives the fingerprints from the corpse of Hannah Grace, and she gives them to her ex-boyfriend, who's the cop, and she says, "Will you run these downtown and tell me who this is?" That's not how it fucking works.
Yeah, as soon as you die, your fingerprints fall off. Everybody knows that.
They send him to whatever place it is, and it takes 6 months for it to come back.
Hey, Ryan, I need access to this safety deposit box. Can you run these prints and tell me who they are so I can find all the info that I need for that? Okay, good. Thank you.
Alfred E. Newman.
Cool. The diamonds will be mine soon, guys.
So, yeah, I gave it, I think, 2 stars because there's, like, some cool, like, deaths.
Sure.
That's it. Yep.
You gave it 2 stars because the premise was good and the ceilings were high.
Yeah, exactly.
That better be the review on Letterboxd. Premise good, ceilings high. Finn.
For my Cary Grant-ness this week, I saw...
his Royal Grant-ness.
Kiss 'Em For Me, which stars James Manfield with Cary Grant.
Ooh,
and they
got a Mansfield one. Nice.
Yeah, they're Navy guys on shore leave. And so they're just throwing a bunch of swinging parties at this hotel in San Francisco.
Like you do.
If you're a swinger.
Oh, yeah. Well, swinging in the military.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's all these movies. I watched 3 Grant movies this week, and a lot of them were kind of weird. This one, so it's really kind of a silly comedy. And then there's a senator there that wants Grant to give a speech and say, hey, this is what the guys are fighting for. And so then Grant says, well, why would I say that? Why would I want to go back to a war where people are dying? And it gets really serious.
Yeah.
And he won't speak because he doesn't want to glorify the deaths of his friends and stuff like that. So it goes like this really hard drama. And then it goes back to them, hey, we're all partying. It's not like it's a bad movie. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Because the tone's really all over the place. And Jane Mansfield is no Marilyn Monroe. She's kind of annoying.
In Jane Mansfield's defense, she has a camp quality that's interesting to watch.
Well, I was reading a little bit about this movie, and the studio fired her, and they blamed her for it being a box office failure, and she didn't work for a couple years.
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
They're like really ruthless back then.
Her story is even more.
It's almost like they didn't respect women at all.
I know.
Oh God. But no, her story actually, like, she is an interesting story. Like her final years too, especially. But she's got an interesting camp vibe to her. I've only watched like 1 or 2 of her films, and I don't even remember their names. So,
but it's there. It's all right. I mean, there's some funny parts in it. When they're trying to get off Hawaii to go to San Francisco, they're conning their way off Cary Grant, and so they go up to the guy and said, "Hey, last night you told us you'd fly us to San Francisco." And the pilot says, "Was I drunk?" They said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, I never break my drunk promises." That's funny. I also watched 2 movies that also both started with Once Upon. I watched Once Upon a Honeymoon. That is with Ginger Rogers, and it's another World War II movie. And Cary Grant is a journalist. Good job, buddy. And he is in Poland, and Ginger Rogers is marrying a Polish baron, and she's pretending she's somebody she's not. She's pretending she's a socialite, and she's really not. So she gets married to him, and he's actually like a henchman for Hitler. So this movie is super serious, but also kind of silly. Mm-hmm. Like they deal with helping Jewish people escape, and
but
Carrie...
they wouldn't have called them Jewish in the movie.
Oh, they did.
They did?
Yeah.
Ooh, production code changed apparently. Oh, yeah, that's right.
So it's
after
1942. So
okay, after we entered the war, yeah, that would have made sense.
But it's really interesting because there's a death of a general that's like gory, and it's so bizarre because it's Cary Grant measuring Ginger Rogers. Like her body because he's pretending to be a tailor, so it's kind of funny. And then they talk about like Hitler killing people and how they have to help people, and it's how Poland is, how the Baron sold out Poland, and I mean there's Nazis. It's crazy.
Every film that you look at from that era between after the breakout of our entry into the war up until maybe about 44, like every film, no matter what it was, had that, like, we have to do something patriotic in here. Yeah. It is the only time in film history where the film industry and the government were so intertwined.
Yeah.
It never has been that way ever again. Like, All Through the Night, which is a Bogart film I talked about with you not too long ago, where Bogart is a gangster who stumbles upon a Nazi murder mystery, is very much the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good in it. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's just the tone is weird because it goes from screwball to dead serious.
Right.
And I mean, Cary Grant is really good in it.
Some of them can do it really well, though. Like, I mean, To Be or Not to Be does that excellently.
Yeah.
Like, where it's serious, but then it gets silly.
Yeah.
But not everyone can do it, obviously. But I'm sure Cary Grant carries that performance.
Oh yeah, no, he's really great, and then Ginger Rogers is really good too.
Oh, she's amazing. I love Ginger Rogers.
And the last one I watched was Once Upon a Time, where Cary Grant plays a theater owner, and his theater is going under, and so he's trying to find a new act for his theater not to be closed. And he finds these two little boys on the street who are playing harmonica and have a dancing caterpillar. And so he sees it, and the caterpillar dances to the harmonica, and he's telling him how this is like the best thing ever. And the movie is really cute. It's really lighthearted. It's kind of fun to watch after you've watched these kind of heavy Cary Grant movies.
Or The Possession of Hannah Grace.
Yeah, or The Possession of Hannah Grace. And he's so good in it. And the only bummer is this is another one you can only get on Prime because Sony's never released it on home video. But they restored it for Prime, so it looks and sounds really good. And it's just about his relationship with this little kid named Pinky and his dancing caterpillar, and how no one will believe him, and how he's trying to sell it and telling the kid not to get. It's actually a really cute movie.
I've never seen this one. I'm going to look this up now.
Yeah, it's free on Amazon Prime.
That sounds adorable.
Yeah, it's not like his best movie, but it's nice, light-hearted fare.
Well, we all know his best movie is His Girl Friday, or The Awful Truth, or The Philadelphia Story, which isn't even his movie. That's more a Jimmy Stewart movie, but whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I watched this week. On the podcast this week, our featured movie is Shazam. Brad, should people see Shazam?
Gee, I don't know. I saw it 4 times, so yeah, they should see. They should see Shazam. It's awesome. Such a breath of fresh air. So much fun. Yeah, I'm going to gush more about it after the trailer.
James?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a fantastic, fun movie. A really good family adventure movie. Maybe my only concern is I wish it was slightly less scary at parts, so that it could have just been PG. Because it's so close to like just a good family movie. But I was like, man, this is good and fun. And then that thing happens in the third act, and I was like, this is important. So yeah, but we'll talk about that later.
Zach?
Sorry, I'm still shell-shocked from James not liking Us.
It sucks, man. The movie sucks.
I mean, whatever. You read things the way you want to read them.
Hey, you know what the first 2 letters of sucks is? U and S.
God damn it.
Zach, step back from the ledge.
I hope you step off that ledge, my friend. Shazam, though, yeah, I loved it. I want to go see it again. I appreciated this film's ability to maintain my interest. And just like
fair, yeah.
like because
It's true.
there's we'll get more into it later, but this is like one of those my biggest fear walking into this was like, is this gonna be like a 1940s serial movie that I really want to see but like doesn't go well and then everybody shits on it and then I'm the only one who likes it? But thankfully a lot of people have loved it and shown love to it. And I really like the design of the of certain aspects of the film, and we'll get into it, and just the way the story structures itself, and the humor is great. Zachary Levi's fucking amazing in the film, like it's wonderful. Yes, please go see Shazam.
Ryan, should people go see Shazam? And did you take Helen?
No and no. I did not. I'm just kidding. No. Shazam is really fun. I did not take Kellen because I heard mixed things about it.
Right. That was like my one question coming out of the theater. Was
Brad
like, man.
Mentioned, because I asked him, I said, can Kellen see it? Because it's pretty lighthearted, the trailers.
Yeah.
And Brad mentioned a part of pretty extreme violence in it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't take him, and I think he would have been okay. However, the dark parts are pretty dark.
It's the monster designs that are maybe more disturbing because the violence to me feels a little off-screeny, but maybe I'm misremembering.
But dude got his head bit off on screen.
That's true. You're right. Yeah,
Leonard Maltin was quick to point that out in his review.
Yeah.
But no, the movie's a lot of fun, and we touched on it a little bit, and we'll play a trailer in a second. But I think this is what DC should have done initially with their universe, is you take someone where everyone knows who Shazam is, but they don't know who Shazam is.
I have no. I mean, I know.
That's what I mean.
I know from comics.
Yeah, you know what he looks like.
Sure,
and I could say the same thing for Iron Man. I mean, how many people knew who Iron Man was?
Yeah.
And so I think this is what DC should have done, because this is an easy film to get into.
Yeah.
And it's told in a really fun way. And here is the trailer for Shazam.
Daily Bats, I choose you as a champion. Say my name so my powers will become yours. Shazam.
Wait, for real?
Say it, okay? Say my name. Shazam!
That's crazy, right?
What are your superpowers?
Superpowers, dude? I don't even know how to pee in this thing.
This is proof of authenticity. Super strength. Electricity manipulation. Hyperspeed.
I'd like to purchase some of your finest beer, please.
His name is Captain Sparkle Fingers.
No, it's not. That's not my name.
Chosen one. Oh, you're like a bad guy, right?
You literally did the opposite of what a superhero is supposed to do.
You're him. You're the hero.
You're welcome for not getting robbed.
I'm Batman.
Get him back in!
How old are you?
Basically 15. Did you see that?
Yeah, you electrocuted a bus and almost killed these people.
And then I caught it!
You leave tall buildings in a single bound.
Actually, I get what you're saying a little bit. The only way I knew Captain Marvel / Shazam was from those serials from Republic, and some of those older there was a radio show of it too, but I didn't know his villains or whatever really. Because those weren't canon back in the day or whatever.
Well, I think his costume is really iconic.
It's. Yeah, and they've talked about him in documentaries constantly.
I feel like I knew more about Shazam because of his relationship with Captain Marvel
than
I knew about Shazam,
Yeah, I mean, but so what I found interesting about this film, though, so it did something that I didn't think was going to be possible while also making the movie good. it adheres to its serial roots in interesting ways.
Sure.
There's an income poverty line in the film, like between rich and poor, which exemplified by the villain and the good guy and the hero.
Mm-hmm.
There's the set of the wizard's cave, or like the that whole thing
Lair.
like
is
the lair.
awful.
No, it's not. It's
but I know
beautiful.
what you mean. It is, yes,
but
it
it
is.
it looks like it was constructed out of the same cardboard in the 40s cereal.
Yeah.
Which kind of looked brilliant.
Yeah.
And when they're like maneuvering around it, it feels so compressed that it has that serial feel while still feeling bigger.
Yeah, it feels
because
like
when it gets big, it gets big.
It feels like a set from an 80s family movie.
Yeah, or I mean, like I said, like it just it has that quality about it that makes it feel so familiar right away.
It's the reused components from like a scene in The Explorers or something.
So, Brad, you liked it so much you saw it twice in one day.
That's right.
What?
and then 2 more times.
What is so compelling about it that you've seen it 4 times already?
I just thought the jokes themselves, like the writing, was really good.
Yeah.
When they're testing out the powers, the part where he lights him on fire, it's a fake
so good.
invisibility test. Like, that's like just so good and clever. And
No,
then,
transportation.
Transportation,
yeah.
And just poking fun at, like, also when they're in the final fight with Savannah and they're hovering above the city, and Savannah is trying to give his villain monologue.
Yeah.
And
so
you think
good.
like, yeah, they do yell at each other a lot in these movies, but like realistically they wouldn't be able to hear each other. So like that was a fun thing to poke fun at. And he's also making the Henry Cavill face, like the intense Superman face.
Oh yeah.
What else? The writing really.
And I think the villain was scary. I mean, he because that's
not deep, but he's scary.
Yeah,
yes.
Like he's a threat.
Yeah,
but
he's also like he rides this line between that and also looking like a campy comic book villain. Like he has a weird scar thing and a glowy eye, and he's bald,
like in a cereal.
Yeah, I mean, and I went
great.
and looked up the comics, and like the comic version of him looks like a little goblin dude. Like not, but he's a bald little dude. He just has like goblin ears or something.
Yeah. The weird thing I noticed though is if they don't like reboot Green Lantern, he's also Sinestro. So he's.
Well, Mark Strong is just a really strong like villain guy.
Yeah.
I think it's his voice.
I think it's his last
really
name.
Strong.
Yeah.
There's like that opening moment where he's in the car and whatnot. There is a groundwork for like this darkness. The moment though that would be normally your like sidekick assistant to the evil person. Gets like obliterated into a skeleton when that door opens up for him again.
Oh yeah,
I was like, "Oh, we're in for this ride, huh? That's fun."
at that point, even that was like the 7 deadly sins at that point are glowy-eyed monsters akin to a Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah,
and she disappears, but her vaporization kind of looks like something out of Buffy.
Yeah.
Like nothing was that terrifying until
but
the 7 deadly sins actually become monsters.
When he goes into the boardroom and he just throws his brother out the window, and
every audience I think I've been in, they've gasped.
Like, because it's one of those things where like, oh shit.
Yeah,
and that shot from outside the boardroom in the glass and whatnot, like it felt intense, more intense than I'd normally see in a PG-13 movie.
Go ahead.
No, that's fine.
I was going to say and to Brad's point, like the comedy is part of what to me kind of holds the first 2/3 of the movie together. In that, the B plot of Billy as a foster kid, all of that to me is great. Like
I think
really
that
well
Angel
handled.
Asher, who plays Billy, is amazing.
He's so good. Yeah,
I also like how they portrayed so in the movie there's his flashback of how great his mom was, but they reshot it where it's from her perspective,
and it's just a little tweak.
Yeah,
it's not a big difference.
No,
she says
it's
the
a
same
line
stuff,
delivery.
but
Yeah,
she delivers it different. Yeah, and it's
Right.
like heartbreaking.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like the context makes it more different than anything else. Yeah. But like, if I take a step back and I look at the villain and the A plot itself, it's actually pretty weak. Like I think the 7 Deadly Sins villain is kind of shitty, and dumb. but like everything else around the movie is so good that you just don't care. Like it almost flies in the face of the whole like superhero movie is only as good as its villain, because this is not that at all.
This superhero movie is as good as The Family,
right?
And he learns that because there's I love the line when he's fighting with,
because the villain here is isolation, man.
Yeah, he's fighting with his foster brother, and after he saves the bus that he caused the accident.
So good.
And he says, he has a line where he says, "You just want to be me," and most movies kind of leave it at that.
Yeah.
He's like, no shit.
And he's like, yeah, no shit, I want to be you.
Right.
And you're taking this for granted.
Right.
And his arc is really good.
Yeah, it is.
As Shazam.
Yeah.
Because he, my biggest concern about this movie was the costume, because when I was seeing pictures, I'm like, this doesn't look good, but in the film it looks really good.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like they've bulked him up to, especially when you get to the later thing we're not talking about yet, like the suits just in general kind of look a little comic booky. Like they look a little bodysuity, but it kind of works in a weird way.
Like they're in a cereal.
Absolutely.
It has that look of like, let's beef him up to make him look like a Superman or whatever. Like I mean, like aesthetically, like, and just like the way everything plays out, like it was just like a fun ride and romp and whatnot. Like honestly, like I feel bad. I probably should have gone with Brad to see it that second time, because I would have watched it again.
Oh yeah,
but I mean, I obviously want to go back. So
speaking of the finale, which I had spoiled for me because I walked down a toy aisle like the week before.
Oh, shitty!
So I was like, "Who are these other Shazam characters?"
But in the comics, he does have other people around.
But I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Yeah. So that moment happens, and I've thought about this for the last few days. To me, that moment is I am Iron Man level good.
And it's so great because they set it up like 3 times with the hands at the dinner table part.
Yes.
For that to like come back for the staff, and I was like, oh man.
And because I say that because this was the closest I've ever felt. I remember when we saw Iron Man for the first time, and I walked out, and everybody was talking about like, oh man, I am Iron Man. And I was like, so? Because I knew. And then when I found out, like, oh, it was a big deal to other people that he admits he's the superhero and breaks this sort of general expectation on superhero movies, that then when this movie did it where, you're watching this movie and you're like, oh man, it's really too bad they can't all have superpowers. And the end of the movie is, no, the whole family gets superpowers. Yeah. And that's what makes this so great. Yeah. I was floored. I was like, this is the coolest, most like tectonic shift in a superhero movie for me in a while.
Yeah.
Because it was that, it gave me that feeling of like wish fulfillment that you're supposed to get out of a superhero movie that I haven't gotten from a superhero movie in a long time, because you know it. You don't go into a Spider-Man movie and get really excited when he wakes up and he has Spider-Man powers, because you're like, yeah, it's Spider-Man. Let's get to the part where he fights and it's cool and there's quips and it's great. Like this, to me, when his little sister becomes a superhero. Now, I will say I agree with Slash Film when they criticize the fact that the fat kid turns into not a fat kid superhero. It would have been really great if he were a fat kid superhero, but whatever.
My only critique, and the only reason I did not give it a perfect review, is the kids at the end all knew how to use their superpowers. Where Shazam
it would have been more
took
fun.
them a little bit to learn how.
But they're being attacked, so it's a little bit more of an intense like trial by fire moment. So,
but it would have been a more fun sequence if they were screwing up.
There are moments where they don't.
Well, they almost killed each
and
other with those powers.
True. Some of them have been studying with him.
Yeah, there are also moments within that scene where they don't even have a grasp on him at all. So they're still trying to figure out how to do it.
But it doesn't leverage.
They still took out the.
My question was,
they should almost do more bad than good while defeating the bad guys.
Yeah.
I did have a question. It seemed like they all had like one aspect of main Shazam's powers, or was it just they were isolating that in the moment?
I think
they
just
all
don't
as powerful.
I think they all probably have it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's magic in a movie, and just accept it and enjoy the ride.
Because the demons were all like, well, if they're separated, they're less powerful. So I was like, the Shazam version of that, maybe that's why they're all like, one's only got the strength and one can only fly.
I think they just figured different things out.
Okay.
Because they all show little bits of some of them.
Yeah, because
like,
Mary
not
doesn't really show any specific thing.
Right. Whereas like Freddy,
Darla's fast. Freddy can fly. Pedro's strong.
but Freddy also like can carry people because he does.
And
it
Eugene has the
sometimes.
lightning stuff.
Yeah, well, Freddy should be able to be the best one anyway.
And Eugene, wait, which one is the fat kid?
Pedro.
Okay, Pedro also has. Yes, Pedro's got the strength. Eugene flies, doesn't he? I feel like I
think they do. Yeah.
I think they probably all have them, but that kind of goes to maybe Ryan's thing of like they don't quite know how they work, so they're just doing their best to get through.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just like in Spider-Man: Homecoming, I bought Spider-Man trying to figure out the powers more.
Yeah.
And still fight the Vulture the first time. I mean, the movie's still fun, and I mean, I forgive it for that because I want to see him fight monsters. I'm down.
And it's kind of a missed opportunity when you the fun thing could be like that the little girl picks up on the powers really quick, where Eugene is basically fucking everything up because he doesn't know what the hell's happening.
I mean, these are just like minor quibbles of a movie that's really fun.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I between this and Captain Marvel, I've appreciated these two back-to-back superhero movies where I don't know everything about them. Like Shazam, I have more of an upper hand on because there's an old-timey element to it.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't even know that much. Like, I knew there were other people in his sphere, but since I didn't see like anybody that looked like those characters, I was just like, oh, they're not going to be there, and then they're kind of there. I guess I don't know. I didn't reread the history thing, but
I knew there was a family in the same way I know there's a super family, but I don't expect them to show up because they can just get powers.
I didn't expect them to do it in the first movie if they're going to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I've appreciated like just going along for the ride. So much so that post-credit sequence with Mark Strong talking to a caterpillar.
Mr. Mind.
I don't know what a Mr. Mind is.
That made me happy because it was nonsensical.
Yeah.
I think it's a lead into New Gods.
Yeah, that little worm looks exactly like his comic character.
Yeah.
And he's just this really smart alien being, if I remember right.
Oh, so it's not a Black Adam.
Whatever he wants. He just
it is with Black Adam.
Oh, okay. So it's a lead into Black Adam.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at the post credits, The Rock is a producer on this.
Oh yeah. No, I'm aware.
Also, you asked me like. I think I was on the last episode you're on something about this being in the DC universe, and you were like, "It can't be." And I was like,
Well, I said I sort of said like it's on the outskirts. It's not like
it's not related to Justice League, but it's in the same world.
I would have said
Superman suit.
Right. I would have said Superman's not going to show up in it, and he doesn't, but he does.
I think it's actually kind of a cool reveal.
Yeah. I thought so too. Jesse said it was weak.
It's a good. I think it's a good scene.
It's funnier
I
without
think
his
it's
face.
like.
I don't think you need. Because remember, you don't need to see his face. You only need to see a symbol because it means hope.
Not
so.
Gross.
Yes. Brought that all the way back.
I mean,
around
that's
to Man of
fine.
Steel.
That's fine considering that's still the best movie out of that franchise.
I like Man of Steel a lot.
Yeah, Man of Steel, the best of them.
I like Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like
you hear that, Kellen likes Wonder Woman.
Half the time, I felt like the DC jokes were the weaker parts, like the weaker jokes for me. But
thankfully, they're few
and far
between,
and they're fine, right? Like, they don't feel shoehorned in.
No,
even the bullet, which ends up being a part of the plot, sort of
actually
doesn't feel shoehorned.
Stupid
in.
adult hands.
I take that back. There
really
is
good.
one great DC joke when he throws the 9 or 10 inch tall Batman figure that goes, "I'm Batman."
Yeah, but that's the thing. That joke could have been in any movie where you were running through.
But it was funny within
like,
this context too.
Batman.
I think that scene is in Jingle All the Way.
It is.
So.
Also, I liked that they subverted the big piano sequence. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I almost told that to Dan today because we were joking about things that he was asking me about the movie, and I said something about they even straight referenced the piano, and I was like, I can't tell you that because it's too good of a spoiler.
And I do like the moment where he's talking to Mary's the older sister, right?
Yeah,
and Mary on the street about like, you should get out and college. It's just a good conversation with Zachary Levi doing comedy, but like there's a serious bent to it, but it's like it's an emotionally funny situation.
Yeah.
I totally forgot because I watched this and Captain Marvel back to back. They are very similar movies. That shithole line Minerva also calls Earth a shithole, whereas in Shazam, their house is a shithole.
Sure.
They are both given their powers by wizards. Of a sort. Shit.
And in a stunning twist, both were created by Stan Lee.
Yeah. There's a couple other things. I was sitting at the drive-in going like, oh my god, I'm rewatching the same beats in different contexts, and I should have wrote them down. But that was two of the big ones I remembered.
Man, that wizard was great.
Yep.
Campy looking.
Jim and Hutsu.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Jimon Hunsu's in both those movies.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's true. Oh man.
Look, I got the Shazam market covered. You just need...
Oh, and also he falls out of the sky to learn how to fly, and she falls out of the sky and learns how to fly.
Oh, later. I thought you meant she falls out of the sky into the blockbuster and then later learns how to fly.
Yeah, no, she does it way later in the movie when she finally figures it out.
Right, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
He does it in the middle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those similarities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But both are in a fight.
Both are, like, part of adopted families.
Okay. Yes. All right.
The writers and directors of Shazam and Captain Marvel coming out of each other's movies going like, did you? No way. No way.
Both of them have adorable little African-American girls.
Yes.
So cute. That little girl is the younger daughter from This Is Us, and she's so amazing, and I love her, and she's the best.
And she's the best sister.
She's just so cute, and she's great in this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, funny. Like, that scene where they're all figuring out that he's Shazam on the couch, and she's just sitting there like, you guys guessed it! And I didn't help you at all! I'm a good sister! That was so good.
Yep.
Man.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it butt?
I was really waiting for him to fight a bad guy by saying Shazam and changing and then using the lightning bolt from Shazam, and then he did, and I was happy about that. That was cool.
That was cool. Yeah, making him fall off the...
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and one other critique is that I wish that the Seven Deadly Sins were recognizable as things and not just like kind of crummy Van Helsing demons.
Yeah, whatever. They're not
Gluttony had like the huge stomach. And
Gluttony's the only one you could really like.
That's
you know,
a cool design.
Yeah,
but
also
the McFarlane toys.
The glutton design is also like the reason why I wouldn't want to take a little kid. You know, especially when his stomach opens, and I was like, okay, it's a bit much. Whereas it could have just been like a fat guy who's ugly and punches you in the face, and then, you know.
Oh, shit, I could have auditioned for that? Fuck.
But at least the CG is bad enough that I think it's more okay for kids, because it doesn't look real at all.
Yeah, it does look kind of cheesy. But, like, again.
But it's fine.
Depending on how young they are, they're not going to know that difference yet.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
It's a fun movie. Fun time at the movies.
It is.
Yep. Next week, we're seeing Hellboy.
Speaking of good monster designs.
R-rated Hellboy.
Yeah. Speaking of a rating that should have been applied to Hellboy the whole time.
Well, so that'll be fun.
But I do like the Guillermo del Toro one, so.
Yeah.
What do I know?
Yeah. Thanks for listening, as always. Bye.
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 Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Drafthouse in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.